Hey there. Hi guys. Welcome to my channel. It's your MC operator here. Thank you for joining me on my inaugural video. I will definitely probably be a little longer than I'd like my videos to be, but I kind of want to give you a little touch about who I am and kind of what I'm about. I promise my next videos will be shorter. My friends say I'm lying because I'm long-winded, but I'm going to do my best. This is about something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I wanted to have my own YouTube channel, but life is definitely you got to take it you got to take it day by day. So happy to have you guys join me. My channel is going to be about firearms. I live in California, so it'll be from a California's perspective. I did not grow up with firearms. My journey along this road really came from a lifelong desire to acquire my CCW, my concealed carry weapons permit. And that's probably the only time you hear me say weapon, because I consider firearms a tool. Weapons are really, I think, for a military, police, someone who is doing something every day that they have to have at a moment's notice their weapon to protect themselves. For us civilians, even in a self-defense situation, I still feel it is one of our tools for self-protection. So home protection, if you decide to carry, obviously that protection as well. But again, just like a hammer is a tool, I believe a firearm is a tool, and it could be about having a good time on the range. It could be for sport, competition. I'm more about self-defense, home defense, and so that's kind of where my channel is going to be about. Also too, this is about giving back for me. When I started my journey about firearms, I was intelligent enough to know I didn't know shit. Let's be real about it. So I went to YouTube to do the research for different manual of arms. I figured if I was going to carry a firearm that with the lethality that it exists, I wanted to be intelligent about it. So I wanted to know how they worked. I wanted to know what smart purchases were. I wanted to listen to professionals. So there were a few channels that I totally used to, I still do, watch for training knowledge, product knowledge. Travis Haley was one of my first channels I watched religiously. Leon Noir, because I just like the way he did things, and obviously different products. There were other channels that I really found interesting as well. Such 00. I even watched people I didn't like. I'll be honest, because sometimes they had things to say, and one of my favorite channels, not saying that I don't like him, because I do like him, would be Ernest Langdon. He's incredible, intelligent. But anyway, bottom line is, there's only about one channel really that talks and speaks to the Californian, and that's the Daily Shooter. And I watch his stuff as well. Feel great knowledge. But I love California. I'm not moving out of California. My family and I, we have long ties to California, and I was also taught never to run from a fight. It is a battle for us here in California for firearms. As I started researching for smart purchases and things that I wanted, I had my 3 or 4 that I was going to get, and found out that none of them were on the California roster. So that was my first experience with a roster. I'm like, what the heck is a roster? When you start heading down the path to purchase, you'll find out what the roster is with the quickness in California. It makes no sense, and I don't want to get all political. I don't want this channel to be political. I want it to always be positive. So I wrapped my arms around the idiotic roster and made what I thought were smart purchases for me at the time. But you also find that as you travel down this road into firearms, that as your skill sets grow and different things, sort of materialize, you'll find that the right purchase at this point in your journey will probably be different than a little further down the journey. You may keep that firearm. You may actually turn it into another firearm that suits your needs as you grow. But today I want to talk about home defense and the things that I think are important about home defense. Really, this first video stems from this current pandemic we're involved in. It's caused a lot of crazy purchases of toilet paper and different things, but also to firearms. And with that being said, they have included a lot of first-time buyers. And some of these first-time buyers, before this pandemic were, we'll say, anti-firearm. And I'm sorry that it took a pandemic to change their mind, but I say welcome. But with those sort of purchases, there comes responsibility. And I want to talk about the responsibilities. First and foremost, safety. Know the 4 rules of safety. We always treat our firearms as if they're loaded always. That is absolutely paramount. And you never want to point your firearms at anything that you're not ready to destroy. So obviously, you want to always point your firearms in a safe direction. You want to keep your finger off the trigger until you have acquired the sights of your actual target you would like to put that round through. And most importantly as well, know your background, because if by chance in a hide situation you miss your target, you want to make sure that what's beyond it is not in jeopardy. So always be safe. And now we're talking about home defense. First of all, let me reach out to you and let you know why I feel that I'm qualified to talk about these things. Again, I talked about my journey was basically a love affair of learning. So I watched videos, I trained, I did all that I could to be a responsible gun owner. I did happen to acquire my CCW in the Bay Area, so very proud about that. And shortly thereafter, I moved from the Bay Area back to my home area of Sacramento, the greater Sacramento area. And those who don't know, when you do acquire your carry license, it's zip code and county specific. So when I left the county I acquired it in Contra Costa, I had to relinquish my permit and then reestablish residency in the Sacramento County. And during that time, as I was establishing my residency, I came across my firearms mentor, John Kennedy. John Kennedy saw a passion in me about learning that he felt was something that he could use to bring more information to other people, because John came from Utah area and really wanted to be an advocate for California Second Amendment. And with my passion, he felt that I could help him continue that quest. And so he opened my eyes to a whole other world about being an instructor, about being an RSO, a range safety officer, a lot of different things that I never even had fathomed or even thought about. And so, John, thank you very much. So now I am an instructor. I give private classes, and I have a passion for teaching and passing on knowledge. And so I want to talk about home defense because a lot of people are buying firearms now due to this pandemic and to protect themselves and their family. There are a few things that I really feel are important when you're looking at a home defense firearm. First is about choices. I have a few firearms on display here, and as you can see, they're all locked open. So all of the firearms have been checked for safety. We're empty. There's no mags in the firearms. Everything is a safe firearm. In the magazines, I have what we call snap caps, or they're pretty much just practice bullets. I'm going to load the firearms with the practice. So again, we're talking about good choices. Before you, there are three firearms, all fabulous firearms. Not all, I think, are good for a first-time purchaser. This is a 1911. The 1911 is a single action firearm. So that means the trigger will do one action. It just basically releases the hammer to fire the cartridge downrange. Though I really feel that every firearms purchaser should have a 1911 in their arsenal someday. It's not the best firearm for somebody out the blocks. It has a very light trigger. They're known for the triggers. So the poundage is anywhere between, say, 3.5 to 5 pounds of pressure to release that trigger and release that cartridge down range. And for somebody who's not trained out the blocks, they could wind up actually hurting themselves or hurting someone that they didn't intend to. To me, it's just not the right manual of arms out the blocks. You're dealing with a manual safety. So if you have the safety on, as you should, whilst at rest, and go to present the firearms and forget to release that safety, you could easily wind up be pulling on a dead trigger. And if you do remember to release the safety, you could easily deploy that round downrange too quick with that light trigger. So to me, I'm going to say we're going to take this one out of the equation for now, because I don't think it's a great firearm out the blocks. So we will just put this over here for now. Left on the counter are two firearms that I really feel are great purchases for a first-time purchase. Because one thing that I really am a huge component of and advocate of is having lights on your firearms for home defense. Most things happen when someone's sleeping, and you may not be able to get to the light switch right away. So having a light on your firearm is super important, I feel. And I hope you understand the fact that, and I'm not sure if I said this earlier, and I think I did, but again, I don't consider this a weapon. This is a firearm, it's a tool, and I just will continue to reiterate that. But both of these firearms, their manual of arms is single double action. What that means is, and we'll start with this one, this is only a single double action. When this firearm is loaded, and we will check, we have the safety round in there, your hammer will drop. If you were to hit this, we'll call it a decocker, you can see the trigger, the hammer, will now drop into a decocked status, giving this a very long and a little heavier trigger pull. So you'll see a little bit of travel to get that hammer to fall. It gives you moments of pause. It gives you a chance to really decide if pulling the trigger is something you really need to do or want to do, instead of that single action which is going to deploy the round immediately. So I really feel that double action, and a lot of people say, oh, double action, it's two different trigger pulls to get used to. That first round you can't put on target because of the long trigger pull. I completely disagree. Again, Ernest Langdon has some great videos. Eventually I'll have some great videos on that same thing as well. But that still falls under training, which is another thing that I think we should get to after we talk about manual of arms. In a heightened situation, somebody breaking into your home or a self-defense situation, you're going to lower to your lowest form of training. So if you were to buy this firearm or that firearm or whatever firearm, come home, stick it in the drawer, and never touch it again, but feel this sort of false sense of security that, oh, okay, if something happens, I have my firearm, and when I need it, I'll rise to the occasion and I'll be able to do battle and save my family. Well, God bless you. I hope that happens, but most likely it's not going to happen. Most likely you're going to either forget how that firearm worked when you first purchased it, if you ever knew, but you're definitely not going to be able to utilize it in a way that's going to help you. So with that being said, sorry for the phone. Please train. Please find a trainer, either like myself or someone else. Watch videos. There's there's a lot of things you can learn on videos about training and such. But go to the range. Put the time in. Put the effort in. Definitely, you need to get to the range and you need to have some training so that when the situation arises, you'll be ready. This too is a single double action, but it also has a safety. And so this has a safety decocker. So if I were to hit this, it's going to decock it, but it's also going to stay unsafe. So if you were just to go ahead and take it back up, now you still have that double action pull. I like to have it in the half cock position because it just lightens the pull a little more, but still is a very safe trigger. So again, it's a very long pull and then it'll deploy. So double action to me is a great way for someone to enter the market for home defense and still be safe. But again, training is of the utmost important. And then if you want to get real fancy, I'm going to end it with this one. I bought a XD40 early on in my purchases. XDs, Springfield, great firearm, 40 caliber, great caliber. I'm also a very large supporter of 9mm, as both of these two both of these two firearms are. But I bought an XD40, and then I discovered another company, and that allowed me to sort of dress up my XD40 and make it a pretty small, impressive self-defense package. And it is California legal, which is important. Not everything, you have to know the laws here in California because you could step out the door wrong and be illegal. But this is a California legal setup. I'm going to go ahead and put this out here so you can see a little better. So what this is a XD40, and this basically is just an accessory, and the accessory is the Fab Defense K-Post, and I will do a whole nother video down the road about that. But this allowed me to turn my XD40 into a pretty nice home defense package. It allows you Picatinny rails to add a lot sight. This is a 6-hour Romeo 4B sight. Also has the light. As I said, every home defense firearm should have a light on it. You have a legal fore grip because it's at an angle, so it's not straight up and down, which would make it illegal. It has a buffer tube, not buttstock, which keeps it legal. But this is a nice little tight package. Also sling, and it allows you, 4 points of contact: cheek weld, hand, other hand, and just a nice little package. Again, it still covers all the bases for a well package for home defense. Again, I can continue to be wordy. I am wordy. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this short. But I do thank you for watching. I'll put in some contact information for my Instagram page. message me if you are in the local greater Sacramento area and would like some training. Please like and support. I'd love to see who my first subscription is going to be. Anyway, thank you very much and have a great evening. Is right for home defense. Now, in these magazines, hey baby, my beagle wants to play. Hey baby. So this is a 1911, and the manual of arms for the 1911. Okay, baby. I'll stop. Break done.